This is a WPL program where library staff from across the system get together to share our love of reading with you, the community. We want to start today by acknowledging that Winnipeg is located on Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. Thank you for being with us today. Each episode of Next Page Live will have a theme, and the staff will pick a selection of books we have read. I feel like it's read. I feel like I should know that. And enjoyed to share with you. Today's theme is love. All the kinds of love. Every book featured is available in our library collection, sometimes in multiple formats, and the books in every episode will be listed in an info guide that you can refer back to. We have put a link to this week's info guide in the chat. Boom. Oh, boom. It'll get there. And you can find it on the library's website. It's coming. On the main page under the Ask Us box with the rectangular button that says Info Guides. So to spell it out a little bit more, you click on Info Guides, then you scroll down to your next great read, and then you select Next Page Live. And all the books that we have previously selected are there, and today's will be as well. Oh, are you sure you want me to host this? Hi. We'll try with words again. Each session of this program is recorded so I can live on in perpetuity making all of these mistakes. So you can go back later and check out what was discussed, because I hear we got some hot takes today on some picks, which is the most fun. We love that. So you may be asking yourself, how does this work? In a round robin style, each one of us takes a turn talking about a book, and at their end, there will be a lightning round of book presentations. As you know, we're on Zoom, and technology is a fickle mistress. So keep yourself muted with the video off. And if you have any connection issues, please just exit and come back in. We have a lovely tech guru in the background who will let you back in. You won't miss a thing. If you have any questions or just want to say something, there is a chat there and we're going to talk to you. So let us know. Now, let's introduce these other people so I don't have to keep doing all the talking. I'm Courtney. I'm the Idea Mill librarian here at Millennium. Next in our order today will be Hannah. We'll give them a wave, Hannah. And Hannah is a youth service librarian here at Mill. Then we have Toby. Hello, Toby, who is an outreach librarian here at Millennium, but you may see her out and about. And then we have Meg. Meg is the branch head at Pemina. And that's us. All right, I'm done talking. Oh, I lied. I'm first up. Sorry, guys. I have to do it again. Let's get started anyway. So, first pick from me is The Wishing Game. This is so good. So good. And it's new. And there's like a million holds on it. So I apologize in advance, but you should read it. It's this author, Meg Schaefer's first book. It is adult fiction. Genre's magical realism. It is available in print or ebook in our collection. It's about 300 pages, so it's not so bad. And the tagline is, make a wish, but be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Oh, I know. Intriguing, right? So after a sorrowful break, reclusive writer Jack Masterson has announced his new title in his famous Clock Island book series and a Willy Wonka-style contest for 4 of his most devoted readers. Come to the real-life Clock Island and win the only copy of the new manuscript, which is worth a life-altering amount of money. So each character comes together to solve riddles, play games, ultimately face their fears and deepest traumas in order to get their deepest wish and change their lives forever. Kirkus Reviews said this is a meditation on the power of hope when all else seems lost. Not bad, right? Pretty good. So the themes are like magic, chosen family, books about books. The characters are very resilient. This is like a feel-good, whimsical, easy read. And I picked it because of the focus on untraditional families and the love that can be found with your chosen people. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, it's your turn.
Thanks. I have been intrigued by that cover, so it's nice to hear you talk about it. My first pick would be one that falls into the all kinds of love that category that Courtney talked about. So it's How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. This is a sweeping novel told in a series of vignettes, with each chapter following a different character in a different time and a different place during an apocalypse. This is one of those slower apocalypse novels that doesn't feel urgent and is more focused on the characters than the action. So think Station 11 by Emily St. John Mendel. Some of the stories you follow during the apocalypse in this novel are the group of researchers who discover that they are too late and the melting permafrost has already released a plague on the earth. Another story follows a worker at a theme park that is designed to gently end the lives of terminal children and the family he falls in love with there. There is another story about a grieving scientist who gets a second chance at fatherhood when one of his test pigs inexplicably develops the capacity for human speech. It sounds silly, but it's actually heartbreaking. And a grandmother and a granddaughter paint a mural on board a generation ship meant to save humanity, among other different perspectives in here. So this novel is haunting and heart-wrenching, but I would say it's quite hopeful in the end. All of the stories are loosely connected, and the overarching story is trying to show us the threads that connect all of us. This has examples of familial love, romantic love, love for one's work, love for one's home and planet. And ultimately, this book feels like a love letter to humanity. I listened to it on audio, and I'd highly recommend it. So on to Toby.
Thank you, Hannah. You had me at Emily St. John Mandel. So my first pick is You Could Make This Place Beautiful by Maggie Smith. This is a memoir about the author's divorce, which maybe is a little odd to include in this roundup of books about love, but bear with me. This is it's a beautiful meditation on family and work and the patriarchy and being a woman in the world, what it means to live and write our own lives. Smith, if you haven't heard of her, she's an award-winning poet, so she has a really great way with words. She crafts just the most perfect sentences. This is a memoir, but it really plays with the genre. It's written in really like short chapters and vignettes and quotes, so it goes fast. You can pick it up and put it down. It's very accessible. And despite the fact that it's about a divorce and the dissolution of a marriage, there's a lot of love in this book, love for the everyday moments and things, and love for her children. The way she writes about children and being a parent is one of my favorite parts. To get an idea of this book, I'm going to actually read one of her poems. It's very short, so don't worry. It's a poem called Good Bones, and it actually went viral because it was published the same week as the Pulse nightclub shooting. So I will read the poem. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep for my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child's broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible, and for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. On to you, Meg.
You're gonna make me cry, Toby.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like, no pressure.
Right? Good poem. Also throw that in there. Jeez.
So my first book is Have an Official's Blessing, or Tianguan Sifu by Mo Sheng Tong Shu. So fair warning, the book is fully translated. I'm an English speaker who does not speak Mandarin, so I'm going to do my best with the names, but I apologize for mispronunciations. So Have an Official's Blessing is this beautiful, intimate, epic romance that unfurls over hundreds of years in a fictional ancient China. It's now fully translated into English, yay, by Sukiya. This is volume 1, so it is one book, but when it was published through 7 volumes. So volume 1 here is 350 pages. It does contain a handful of illustrations by Zelda CW, who is a very popular fan artist that they then hired to illustrate the series. And now the story. So Heaven Official's Blessing follows Shi Lian, who is an 800-year-old deity. He was once the adored flower crown prince, ascended to heaven in glory, and then was cast out in disgrace. He then ascended to heaven again and was cast out again. And the story starts when he is ascended to heaven for the third time, much to the chagrin of the other heavenly officials who know all about him. He's now known as the trash collecting god and the laughing stock of the three kingdoms. So he ascends again, super overwhelmed, decides just to go back to Earth. Let's just not deal with this right now. And just happens to run into the enigmatic Song Lan, who is a young man who seems to know everything and is happy to just spend time with him, but is also awfully similar to the infamous Hua Cheng, who is the ghost king known for challenging and defeating gods. But if Song Lan is Hua Cheng, why is he happy to spend time with a disgraced god? I don't know. Maybe it's love. Maybe you'll have to find out. So it is just this beautiful, beautiful story that just unfolds over like millennia through the eyes of these immortals. It made my list of books about love because their relationship is just this beautiful intimacy. Shi Lian's been through a lot over his 800 years. Hua Cheng is happy to just like wait it out. So essentially, their love is just this steadfast devotion over hundreds of years. And it's just so, so beautiful. I would recommend this to readers who like a good immersive epic. So if you liked A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin, better known as Game of Thrones, this is a similar like book you can sink your teeth into with complex politic, well-considered world with fantasy elements, characters you will love to hate, and romance that lasts the ages. It would also be good for readers who liked Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller or American Gods by Neil Gaiman, because it's a similar kind of take, a new take on like ancient figures that's made for modern readers. And if you know Chinese genre Danmei, which this is, I'd recommend this to fans of Thousand Autumns, Husky and His White Cat Shizen, and fans of Priest, especially if you like Guardian or Shepulong, a lot of which are now being translated. And that's it for me.
That sounds interesting as well. Man, guys, I already have so many books to read. Oh well. Okay, next. Una, Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. I think I said that right. If not, she can come for me. It is an adult fiction book. It's in the fantasy genre. I know that's shocking if you've watched me talk about books before. Not. It's so good that we have it print, ebook, audio, or large print, so you can get that one in any way, shape, or form that you'd like. It's about 340 pages, so it's a nice read. And the tagline for this one is, what does it mean to live life fully in the moment, even if those moments are out of order? I love a good time travel book. So, picture it. New Year's 1982. And Una Lockhart has her whole life before her. And at the stroke of midnight, she will turn 19. And the year ahead promises to be one of consequence for her. And as the countdown to New Year begins, Una faints and wakes up 32 years in the future in her 51-year-old body. Yeah. Disconcerting, no? Greeted by a friendly stranger in the beautiful home that she's told is her own, Una learns that with each passing year, she will leap to another age at random. And so begins Una Out of Order. So Una hops through decades, pop culture fads, much needed stock tips help out. Una is still a young woman on the inside, but ever changing on the outside. So who will she be next? A philanthropist, club kid, world traveler, wife to a man she's never met before? Surprising, magical, and heart-wrenching? This is a story about the burdens of time, the endurance of love, and the power of family. Not bad, eh? So, time travel, families. We have a strong female protagonist. Also something I do often. Hot take. Might be a better version of the time traveler's wife. And I really liked that one, so that's saying something. This read-alikes for this one are like the Midnight Library or Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, which is, oh, so good. There is a great read-alike list on Novelist, which is a service that WPL has online. So you can go in, put in the title, and see books that are like this book. That's a good list. I added like 20 books to my TBR read. So just saying, Una Out of Order. Okay, Hannah.
Okay, everyone's reading Una out of order lately. Apparently I need to jump on it. So my next one is the only one I couldn't get my hands on a second time to hold up the cover so you know it's popular. So that is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I tried to pick books across genre and age groups. So this one is a nonfiction. Alderton is a British journalist and former dating advice columnist. And while this book is billed as a memoir, I would say it's more like part memoir, part essay, part advice, and even part cookbook in a silly way. As the title would suggest, this is everything Alderton learned about love and growing up and aging and navigating life. She covers everything from her awkward teen years, flirting via instant messenger, to being a single adult in her 20s, surrounded by couples, to her relationship with her best friend and how it grew and changed over time. She talks a lot about how to navigate a friendship when one person is single and the other is not, and how to not let a romantic relationship overshadow your relationship with your friends. A lot of what Alderton says in here seems simple, but when pulled together, it really can shift your perspective on life and love. I also listened to this one on audiobook, and it is narrated by the author, so I would highly recommend that. And on to Toby.
Thank you. So I have another sad memoir. It's A Heart That Works by Rob Delaney. If you haven't heard of Rob Delaney, he is an American actor, probably best known for a show called Catastrophe, which is excellent. If you haven't seen Catastrophe, go out and watch all the seasons. But like I said, this is a memoir about Delaney's son, Henry, who was diagnosed with brain cancer at the age of 1. Their family, the Delaneys, had moved from LA to London so he could be on this show. And they had 2 young sons when they moved, and his wife was pregnant with their third, who was Henry. And the move was an adventure as they, navigated their new city and Rob's fame due to his role on the show. And then, of course, Henry got sick, and that changed everything. And Delaney writes about just like the hell of surgery and chemo and treatments, but just also about the incredible community who supported his family during this awful time. It's not a spoiler to say that Henry did die 2 years later. And this book, it's devastating. It's heart-wrenching. If you want to cry, this is a good one. But Delaney, he just writes so beautifully about his son, and I'm including it in this roundup of books about love because that's ultimately what it's about. It's a love letter to Henry and to his wife and his family and to parenthood in general. It's short, so it won't take you long. But yeah, this is lovely and sad, and just it's a book you want to hug. To you, Meg.
Okay, mine is also about a parent's love, but I think it's a little lighter. So my next read is From the Stars in the Sky to the Fish in the Sea by Canadian author Kai Cheng Tom. And it's illustrated by Wei Yant Li and Kai Yun Ching. So it is a children's book in the classical style of a children's book with beautiful illustrations on every page that are sticking together. There we go. So you can see there. Well, actually, yeah, so talking about tears, there we have a lot of tears happening. So the story is about Mulan, who's a child who is born when both the sun and the moon are in the sky, so they can't decide what to be. They're a magical child who can grow wings and feathers to fly, a tail and scales to swim, or fur and paws to play with puppies. Their mother makes sure Mulan feels loved by singing the lullaby, and I'll just quickly say it because it's so pretty. Whatever you dream of, I believe you will be, from the stars in the sky to the fish in the sea. You can crawl like a crab or with feathers fly high, and I'll always be here. I'll be near, standing by, and you know that I'll love you till the day that I die. So Mulan's magical childhood becomes complicated when they start school. The other children don't understand a child with a spiked shell, so they act out. Mulan then decides to come to school simply as a child, but the other children demand to know whether they're a boy or a girl, and Mulan just doesn't understand. So when they get home each day, Milan's mother sings her the lullaby to make sure Milan knows that they're loved for everything they are. And of course, Milan ends up deciding it's better to be who they are. They go to school in like feathers, fur, stripes, scales, and sparkles, and make friends that way. So it's just a beautiful book, so full of a parent's unconditional love and a child finding self-love. It's that kind of unconditional love told through a lullaby really reminded me of Robert Munsch's Love You Forever. Similar to Love You Forever, I find it hard to read this book without tearing up, so get ready. I think part of the reason the story is so powerful is it is so genuine. Kai Chang Tom is an award-winning author. She's Canadian, a non-binary trans woman, and this is the lullaby that her mother sang to her when she was growing up. So you can really feel that authentic experience coming from someone who knows how to tell stories well. So as I mentioned, it is like a classic kids book, full-page illustrations that are very lovely and whimsical. I think it would be great for any family as a read aloud bedtime story, particularly if your child is starting to explore identity in new ways or experiencing challenges with peers at school. Overall, highly recommend. On to you, Courtney.
That sounds marvelous in all the ways. More time travel now. I love time travel. The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. Have any of you read Adrienne Young, just like as a starting question? Okay, you know how I feel about pirates? Pirates, feminism, time travel, fantasy, fire. Well, I lied. There's no pirates in this one, but her other ones have pirates. Anyway, it's an adult fiction book and it's a fantasy. Of course, it's super popular, but we have it in print, ebook, audiobook, large print, like you can read it anyway. It is a tale that blends mystery, magic, and romance in a story that spans time. Ooh. So after the death of her grandmother, June Farrow is the last in her family line, and she intends on keeping it that way because all of the women in her family fall mentally ill, some when they're older and some when they're younger, and June thinks she's in the latter group because she's been experiencing hallucinations for the last year. But her certainty that her mental issues are worsening is upended when she gets just a few cryptic clues that suggest there's a little bit more going on than just run-of-the-mill hallucinations. So June begins to investigate these clues, her own past, and a murder that happens years and years ago to make a decision. Does she give in to the hallucinations and go where they lead her, or does she work to stay sane as long as possible? This book is wild. It's a lot different than the description kind of makes it sound. It's about time travel and families and curses and secrets and all that intertwined stuff that comes with all those familial relationships. Like I said, it's a strong female protagonist, and it's kind of a love story to following your gut and not what's in front of you, and how that can turn into something, and how if you stay true to yourself, you're going to have a hard journey, but you're going to get where you need to be for yourself in your own family and in your own life and in your own time, whatever that time may be. Yeah, it's good. Anything Adrienne writes is good. I'm a big fan. But yeah, this one is different than some of her other stuff. Her other book, Spells for Forgetting, is kind of more this lives more in a traditional land like now than like make-believe fairy tale pirates and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, good book. Okay, your turn, Hannah.
Thank you. I have not read Adrienne Young, and now I'll have to look into her stuff and the pirates. So yeah. My next pick is the young adult novel Loveless by Alice Osman. So this novel follows Georgie, a British teen heading off to university for the first time. Everyone around her seems happily in love, or at the very least know what they want in the relationship department, but she has never kissed anyone and isn't sure she really wants to. But then university opens her up to a whole new world of queer identities, and she begins to wonder if she may be aromantic and asexual. While this initially causes her to panic, she eventually comes to realize that just because she doesn't want a romantic relationship, it doesn't mean she will be unloved. So this is a character-driven story all about identity and loving your friends and loving theater and loving life. There is also plenty of going on in terms of like new to school antics and lots of fun theater scenes here. While this is YA, I think it's still a fun read for anyone who likes contemporary stories about everyday relationships and everyday life. And Osmond, if you recognize the name, is well known for her graphic novel series Heartstopper, which was just made into a TV show. And this similarly follows sweet, lovable characters figuring their place out in the world and would be a perfect read for fans looking for more of her work. So on to you, Toby.
Thank you. I have no more sad memoirs, I promise. Now we're just on to the good stuff, the romance. So my next pick is You Again by Kate Goldbeck. I have heard this described as When Harry Met Sally, but both characters are terrible people. And that kind of tracks. I've also heard this referred to as Reylo fanfic, which refers to Kylo Ren and Rey from Star Wars, but I'm not familiar with that genre, or that world, so I don't know if that tracks, but you read it and tell me. So this is like your classic enemies to lovers contemporary romance. It's about Ari, who's a comedian, and Josh, who's a chef. You know, they run into each other over many times over several years, and then they run into each other again after both have gone through some stuff. Ari's gone through a divorce, and Josh has gone through a failed restaurant, and they become friends, and you know how romances go. So I really like this one. It has really great dialogue and banter. It has that When Harry Met Sally feel with the dialogue. The story is compelling. In most romances, I get kind of bored around the 2/3 mark when I just want the characters to get together already. But with this one, I did not. I found the storyline quite good. There's really good tension between these two characters. The sex scenes are really good. There's not many of them, but they're really good. And I love a book set in New York City. So that is You Again by Kate Goldbeck. On to you, Meg.
Me. Nice. I also have a romance. Next up is Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, which was very difficult for me to get down to 3 minutes. So it is mystery, historical fiction, romance. Courtney, I'm coming for you with a little bit of time travel in here. It's really a modern supernatural classic that brings us the forbidden love between a witch and a vampire as they search for a magical library book. What more could we want? This is book 1 of the All Souls series. It is ongoing with the new book coming this summer, but if you want, to just give it a try, you can certainly just read the first one. The first 3 kind of close off the magic book storyline. The books are bigger, about 650 pages each. Very readable though, like I found them to be quite quick. They're also available as an e-audiobook through Libby with reader Jennifer Aketa, who is incredible. And there is a great TV series available on DVD and on Hoopla. Yes, I agree. So what is it about? Diana Bishop is a witch who never uses her magic and frankly isn't that great at it anyway. Instead, she's happy to focus on her academic career studying ancient alchemic manuscripts. She avoids other witches and has no desire to mix with vampires or demons. The demons in this, not scary like monster demons. They're like really creative, intelligent people. So one day she requests a book from the library, Ashmole 782, and as soon as she sees it, Diana knows it is full of power. It also makes no sense. The first 3 pages are missing. The remaining pages have nearly invisible moving text and perplexing illustrations. She's determined not to let magic seep into her work. Diana returns the book to the library, considers it done. Almost overnight, the library is crawling with vampires, witches, and demons, including vampire and scientist Matthew Claremont, who is tall, dark, and mysterious, and he's been looking for the book for hundreds of years. So Diana and Matthew are drawn to each other, begin a tentative, forbidden relationship. Matthew explains that Ashmole 782 is better known as the Book of Life, rumored to contain the witch's first spells, the origin of vampires, and the secrets of demons. Many creatures are looking for it, and now that she's seen it, Diana is in danger. So, is this for you? I hope so. Discovery of Witches is a rich, magical story. There's mystery and a love that breaks barriers. The reason it made my list for stories about love is because there's a moment, technically not in the first book, but there is a moment when Diana says her fight to be with Matthew is about more. It's about everyone, all the creatures, all the people who are limited or isolated by systemic barriers, and everyone deserves to love freely and know community. I mean, yes. So I think this would be a great book for fans of the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. A lot of similarities, like a rich immersive world, strong female lead, and a love interest you can't resist. Book 2 does take us into historical fiction, but I won't say too much about that. It would also be great for readers of The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Similar blend of fact and fiction, because author Deborah Harkness is a history professor in alchemy. So she does a great job of blending real historical facts and figures with the supernatural elements to create a world very much like our own. And if you're here for vampires and witches, as I am, very similar to like Ilona Andrews, Kelly Armstrong's Otherworld series, Karen Mary Moaning, or Elizabeth Kostova. On to you, Courtney.
No word of a lie, Meg recommended that to me in library school. Stayed up all night reading like all 3 of them. And yeah, you will stay up finishing them because they're that good. They're pretty awesome. Now I'm breaking the rules because I get to. I don't know who's going to stop me. My lightning round pick is 2 books. Cheating. Love it. Because really, if you read one, you have to read the other one. These are amazing. Winter's Orbit and Ocean's Echo by Everina Maxwell. LGBTQ queer space opera. Read them. So good. Print your ebook. They're both 300-ish. They're not that bad. But like 2 space operas, love it. So Winter's Orbit is a story about hope, comfort, and the way healing can be long and awkward. All the more so in a society where there are reasons to hide that everything can go wrong. It focuses on healing, but there is a significant focus on what characters have outgrown. So there is a content warning on this one for past domestic abuse, just an FYI. And kind of a little bit for some medieval type interrogation. Space opera, you gotta roll with it. Ocean's Echo is in the same universe, but focusing on 2 different characters, dealing with consent, boundaries, self-esteem in a science fiction world where mind control and mind merges are possible. Content warning on this one includes obviously mind control, sharing coercion and mental health struggles, including self-neglect and prominent self-destructive thoughts. So, themes: adventure, justice, good versus evil, misfits, arranged marriages, with some lovely, lovely same-sex protagonists with different voices and experiences. It's just awesome. It's love in space. Who doesn't like that? Like that. There you go. Hannah, your turn.
I will second the recommendation for Winter's Orbit. I haven't gone to Ocean Echoes yet, but now I need to bump it to the top of the list. So
good. So good.
My first lightning round is Same Love, Different Hug by Sarah Horvath and illustrated by Abby Bryant. This is a picture book, basically all about not hugging people without their consent, but loving them anyway and finding out how they want you to show that love. So our main character takes us through all the people in his life and the different ways they like to receive affection at different times. It's positive and upbeat throughout, validating all forms of love and affection. This is a great pick to read to the little ones in your life. The illustrations are bright and eye-catching, showing people of different skin tones and abilities. And hey, even if you don't have a little one to read it to, I fully endorse reading picture books as an adult. It's the best. On to you, Toby.
Thank you for that. Okay, I have another romance. It is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Here's some time travel for you, Courtney, though. Have you read this one?
Oh, but it's on the read-alike list for the other book that I mentioned. It's in my, I gotta read you.
Okay,
Digital
perfect.
pile on Libby.
Yeah, time travel. So this is a lesbian time travel subway romance, which sounds like a lot, but bear with me. And this is about a woman named August. She moves to New York. She's trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. She finds a place to live with some quirky roommates, you know, the found family. She gets a job at a 24-hour pancake diner. And then one day on her commute to work, she sees an attractive stranger in a really cool leather jacket on the subway. And then she sees her again and again and again. And the two become friendly, perhaps more than friendly. And it turns out the stranger, whose name is Jane, has somehow been transported from her life in the 1970s to this train from which she cannot leave. So August and her friends embark on a plan to get Jane off the subway, though this may mean she goes back to her life in the past and leaves August's life forever. So it's a really quirky premise, but it works, you know, it's magical, it's sexy, there's some sexy times on the subway, it's big-hearted. It also has some more serious moments exploring prejudice and violence that Jane experienced as queer people in the 1970s. I clearly love a romance set in New York City. Just a really fun romance for anyone. On to you, Meg.
That sounds super fun. I'm like trying to write things down without being unprofessional and looking away. My first lightning round is The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wong. This is also significant because I am known for recommending series that will, you know, take over your life. And this is a standalone, so yay. Prince and the Dressmaker is a great story for people who like Heartstopper by Alice Oseman or the Tea Dragon Society series by Kay O'Neill. It is about young adult graphic novel, I should say, about acceptance, love, and fashion. So it follows Frances, a young seamstress who is hired by a mysterious client to create gowns that capture beauty, drama, and romance. The client is soon revealed to be Prince Sebastian, the sole heir to the throne who can't let anyone know he feels most confident in heels and yards of silk. So together with Frances, they cook up a scheme, essentially. She makes the dresses. Prince Sebastian enjoys the spotlight as the fashionista, Lady Crystalia. Frances starts to feel a crush blooming, but then people start asking questions, and the secrecy starts weighing on them both. Will Frances admit her feelings? Will Lady Crystalia be revealed? You just have to find out. I would recommend this for readers who enjoy a heartwarming story. It's a good, quick read, beautiful, soft pastel illustrations, young love blooming, and supportive parents. We adore. On to you, Courtney.
Yeah. Quick note, I was going to use that one, but Meg wrote it down first. So instead, I'm going to make you cry. Because I'm like that. If y'all haven't heard of A Little Life, it's not little, 700 pages. It was on everybody's, you got to read this list, to make you ugly cry last year. Like it was on everywhere. You will cry. It will be ugly. It will be good. It is one of the most real stories I think I've ever read and believed in. So it's about 4 college classmates who moved to New York to make their way. They are broke, adrift, and they're really only kept buoyed by each other and their friendship and their ambition. Willem's an actor, JB's a Boston-born painter, Malcolm is a frustrated architect, and then there's Jude. And that's all I'm saying about Jude. And Jude's kind of like the glue that holds them all together. So this like takes place over decades, and things just change as our lives change, and there's the relationships deepen and darken, and there's addiction and success and pride and love and hate and trouble and their greatest challenge each comes to realize is Jude, because Jude has had a complicated life. He is a super brilliant lawyer, but his mind and his body are broken in different ways by unspeakable childhood and traumas that he might not be able to overcome and will define his life forever. And then you sob uncontrollably for a really long time. I'm not going to lie to you. The triggers abound in this book. So mental illness, sexual abuse, you really should take a look before, because you're gonna cry. So if it's harmful to you, please just pass this one for a while. Themes are chosen family, survival, friendship. There's hope in there, though. It is in there. It's deep sometimes. And the characters are just a grab bag of complex, flawed people just dealing with this lovely little thing we call life. That was not quick, but how are you quick about this book? I don't even know. Yeah. Have the rest of you read this? Yeah, Toby's like, I know. I see you crying.
It's like, it's torture porn, that book.
It really is. Like, you know you're gonna cry because I told you you're gonna cry. Somebody told me I was gonna cry. It's, coming in, you're like, oh, how bad could it be? And then you're like, o'clock in the morning. Like, yeah. Okay, Hannah, make them not cry.
Yeah, no, I've got one that won't make you cry. My last pick is a romance short story anthology. It's brand new. I think I was the first one to get it from when we acquired the copies. So this is Even If the Sky is Falling, edited by Tash McCoy. All 6 stories are told by 6 different authors, and they all follow a different couple who have to find shelter after they get a notice that a meteor may be about to hit Earth. So they're all multicultural stories. There's one queer story in here. And they have all the classic romance tropes you could hope for. Forced proximity, obviously, but also enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, and the classic only one bed. This next part will probably appeal to you, Toby, because the stories are short. They waste no time having the characters fall in love or getting steamy. But each one feels fleshed out and like a complete story despite that. And I definitely added some new authors to the list to check out thanks to the stories in this collection. On to you, Meg, or Toby.
Thank you. That sounds perfect. That sounds exactly like what I want to read. Okay, so my last pick is Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This is smut. I'm gonna not mince any words here. This is smut. This is a sci-fi romance. It's about a spaceship full of attractive young women who crash land on an ice planet that just so happens to be inhabited by very tall, very handsome blue aliens. This ain't gonna win any awards. The writing is fine. But you're going to enjoy every minute of this. It is steamy, it is sexy, the characters are fun. You're just going to have a great time reading this. And there's like 20 books in this series. We only have about 6 of them right now. I'm working on it. But yeah, it's really fun. On to you, Meg.
That's amazing. I didn't pick anything steamy. I feel like I kind of missed the beat. My last one is Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe, which I also wrote down before Courtney could get it. Great read for fans of Song of Achilles or Circe by Madeline Miller. Any of those like modern retellings of Greco-Roman mythology, which are coming out right now. Just cannot recommend enough. So this is the first volume in an ongoing adult graphic novel retelling of Persephone and Hades. It is just ridiculously beautiful, and it is the telling of Persephone and Hades we have all been waiting for. So from Persephone's perspective, and really just turns the story on its head, not at all what we thought, and is just this lovely story of deep respect, devotion, and love between Persephone and Hades. So Persephone moves to the golden city of Olympus and is not prepared for the gossipy intrigue and the initially flattering attention. Unable to find her footing, she ends up turning to the infamous Hades, lord of the underworld and owner of many adorable dogs. So when something terrible happens, Persephone finds comfort and security with Hades, but that, of course, makes a lot of enemies for her. The vibrant, emotive artwork is just so incredibly beautiful, and we get a full cast of historical and mythical figures that are really like not as we've ever seen them before. Cannot recommend enough.
It's so pretty. I love that one. She scooped me twice. Can you believe this? Sheesh. Lucky I like you. All right, and that is us ending exactly on time. It's very librarianish of us. Good job, team. Thank you for being here with us today. We will be emailing you an evaluation form for the program. So if you have things to say about me being not able to pronounce things, you could put it there. You can tell us what you thought. We do welcome feedback if you have anything to tell us. We hope you're able to come again next time, which will be on April 8th, where we are talking about spring. We'll share a link to the program in the chat. There you go. That's it. We're done. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.